guest from St. John's to New York to work as a co-op student for one of the world's most famous toy makers. Mollie Jameson is the first Canadian student Fisher-Price has ever taken on. She joins us from New York this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm good. So you've started, right?
Yes, I started on Monday.
And how is it?
It's fantastic. It's exactly what I pictured. It's super colorful and there's toys everywhere.
So yours is such a great story. So you're looking for a position, a co-op position of some kind. What made you think of Fisher-Price and what started that search?
Well, I've always wanted to do engineering since I was little because I love the idea of making something from nothing. And I've always been interested in the consumer product industry because I want to make something that is helpful to people and that people love. And with a toy, toys help children become creative when their imagination doesn't have those bounds set on them by society. So that's what set me looking for a toy company.
So you see a posting and you applied online?
Well, yes, I went on Google and started looking up mechanical engineering work terms, and I came across the Fisher-Price job. So I read down through the job description, and it just seemed like a perfect match for me, where I would get to use my engineering skills combined with my creativity and my public speaking skills for meetings and presenting ideas.
Did you think at the time, gee, I'm Canadian, maybe it's the competition's too stiff, maybe they don't hire Canadians?
Well, that's exactly what I thought. And that night, I applied for the job, wrote a cover letter, sent in my resume, and I couldn't stop thinking about it that night. So I went to bed, and I woke up the next morning and just thought I didn't do enough to get this job. So I went upstairs and got my phone and called the 1-800 Fisher-Price number. So anyway, I got transferred through people in HR, and finally somebody gave me the number to the New York office, which is the Fisher-Price Friends office where they make the character brands like Disney and Thomas the Train. So anyway, they gave me that number and I called up, and it was kind of like a voice directory message, and it said, please say the name of the person you're trying to reach or dial a 4-digit extension. So I was kind of caught off guard, and I just guessed the 2 first names that came to my head. So I guessed 2 male first names, hoping I would get one of those 2 people. So anyway, the phone starts ringing. I have no idea who's going to be on the other end, and a man picks up, and he says, hello. So I said, hi, are you in engineering? And he kind of laughed and said, yes. And I said, well, that was a lucky guess. So anyway, I talked to him and convinced him to let him send my resume, my cover letter to him. So when I got his email, I died laughing because I realized the 2 first names I guessed was his first name and last name.
And
so anyway,
yeah, go ahead.
2 days later, I had an email from Fisher-Price saying they wanted to interview me. So I had a Skype interview with the director of the Disney line and the directing manager of the Thomas the Train line. So the interview went really well, and at the end they said, we have one more question for you. How did you get our boss's name? So he was actually the VP of engineering at the Fisher-Price Friends office.
This is incredible. It's such an incredible story because in a way it's kind of accidental or a lucky guess or however this happened. But from what I gather, and for the people that know you, your family and your friends and fellow students, they think that this is typical Mollie, right?
Well, I kind of always just go for what I want, and when I'm committed to get something, I don't stop until I get it.
It's pretty good advice. I mean, is that what you would tell other students who are trying to get jobs?
Well, I guess for me and a lot of other students that I know of, the thought of graduating and finding this dream job that we could be working at for 5, 10, 15 years of our lives is scary. And I would just say, pursue your passion. Every person that says no to you after an interview or a tryout or even an audition is just making room for somebody else to say yes. And you can't be afraid to fail. If you're not afraid to fail, then really nothing seems out of reach.
Oh, wow. With advice and knowledge like that, it's no wonder you're at the dream job at the moment in co-op. Thank you so much for coming on the show and talking about this.
Thank you very much for having me.
Continued success, Mollie. So now Marcy goes to boot camp with David.